This is the original version of Fantastic Four coin production. Now let's take a look at the explanation behind it. I'm using 4 coins, which are 100 lira coins, Italian coins. I'm using these because they have steel in them and are attracted to a magnet. I have 4 magnets and a small block of 8 cards. The magnets are glued on the inside. I'll show you how to make this up a little bit later on. But for right now, the cards go in the box with the 4 coins on the back side of the block of 8. The cards can be taken out. The cards can be ribbon spread. Now you notice my left hand is sort of lifting up the cards on the left hand side. That's so the cards don't lie flat upon the table and they might be able to see that there's a break at that point. Anyway, you take out the couple of jokers. Notice the open handling here where the fingers are open, the hands are open, everything's clean looking. You then go into a Hindu shuffle. Hindu from about the middle of the pack. Hindu shuffle, keeping those coins on the bottom. Then go into an overhand shuffle and shuffle that last block of 8 right to the bottom of the deck. Now as you turn everything over, be sure not to tip the deck upwards or they'll see that break in the front. I usually tip it downwards and spread a few cards forward. That gives me the reasoning to readjust the cards and to get into this next position, because I have to push the bottom card sideways into a longitudinal tenkai palm, I guess you could call that, a horizontal tenkai palm. And now, with hands and fingers open, the deck is set in the other hand. You come straight back, taking that block of 8 with you and depositing them right on top of the deck. You then simply push the 2 coins forward, pull 2 coins backwards, and that's it. That's just how simple that is done. Now let's take a look at making the gimmick. To make the gimmick, you're going to need 6 playing cards, which you're going to be punching 4 holes in each card using a paper punch. The holes are spaced evenly apart from each other. These 6 cards are then glued with a glue stick, one on top of the other, starting to form a packet of cards. Using a glue stick, you stick those all together. Stick those onto the bottom card. Now you notice the arrows are indicating where 4 magnets, 1/8 inch rare earth magnets, which I've purchased from Radio Shack, are dropped into the holes. So now you're going to have 4 magnets with 1 card on top, making a block of cards that will be magnetic. Next, you're going to be needing 4 coins that are attracted to a magnet. I'm using Italian coins, 100 lira, although I would suggest using steel shimmed quarters or steel shimmed half dollars. I use these because that's what I had laying around the house at the time. And as you can see, the coins will not come off the cards until you push them off. A very secure hold. If you choose to use half dollars, you can see you have to slightly tilt them at an angle to have all 4 fit onto the card. It uses the same gimmick, but it's done in a very, you could say, fancy manner. Now let's take a look at how this one's accomplished. The cards are brought out of the card case, making sure that the 4 coins upon the back are never seen, and then the cards are thumb fanned. There's just enough space for the thumb to make contact with the deck of cards so you can actually perform a thumb fan to show the cards. Don't be afraid that the coins will fall off. The magnetic attraction is very strong to these coins. You close the fan up and give it a ribbon spread across the table. Notice that my left hand is guarding that edge because those coins will not make contact with the table edge. And then remove the 2 jokers, set those aside because of a cleanup, which I'll teach you a little bit later on. Next, the cards are Hindu shuffled. I break the cards roughly about in half and Hindu shuffle the top half back up to the top, and then I overhand shuffle, making sure the last card, that block of cards, goes on last. I then push half of the deck forward, because if you don't, look what will be seen from the front, a very large break. So as soon as you turn the cards over, you push half of them forward to cover up that break. I then cut off about 1/3 of the cards and go into a one-handed thumb fan, and as I come over top of the packet, I actually steal, using my last 3 fingers of my right hand, I steal that packet from underneath my left hand behind the fan. This is what it looks like with a piece of plastic to represent the fan of cards in my hand. My last 3 fingers go underneath the packet in my left hand, and they simply drag out that whole block of cards with the coins magnetically attracted to them. They get replaced back on top as I slowly bring the fan away, and voila, the coins have been produced. Let me show you that one more time. I've just fanned the cards. My 3 fingers reach underneath. They simply pull the cards, pull the block out from underneath, and they redeposit it back upon top. This is what it looks like in real time with a real fan of cards. It doesn't take long at all to do the steal and to actually deposit those coins back on top. Now to dislodge the coins, you simply push them off at an angle from the back towards the front, and the coins will simply scrape off of the packet and fall onto the table. Now let's take a look of how to possibly clean up this effect. Now at this point you've just produced 4 coins and the jokers are still upon the table. Imagine if you had a metal blade from an X-Acto knife taped on the inside of the box. There would be a piece of metal taped inside, wouldn't there? And if the box were to be turned over this way and the deck scooped up, look what could happen. Remember, the magnetic block is still on top of the pack? Well, if you go to pick up the card box to apparently put the jokers away, you can see what will happen if you simply slide the box backwards. That block of cards is going to be magnetically attracted to the box, and the entire box and block will be picked up and placed in your shirt pocket or in your jacket pocket, cleaning everything up in one fell swoop. When I came up with Fantastic Four 3.0, it was to get rid of the magnetic gimmick and to be able to freely dump the coins from the top of the deck onto the table. The cards are shuffled, the cards are cut, and the cards are fanned. Just like magic, 4 coins of your choosing appear on the top of a pack of cards. In this case, quarters. It doesn't matter what coins you wish to have magically appear. Here it is again using half dollars, just like magic. The gimmick for Fantastic Four 3.0 is simply 2 plain cards which have been taped together. I use carpet tape, the cloth variety. 1 strip along the top, 1 strip along the bottom. That pretty much does it, but you can use any kind of tape that you want, or perhaps you can use a glue stick if you prefer that. I then taped, using double stick tape, the cloth carpet tape once again, 4 half dollars in an offset position. They're not perfectly aligned. That's pretty much your gimmick right there. It goes on top of your deck of cards. You're going to need 4 additional half dollars or quarters, whichever you are producing. And so that the deck with the extra thickness will fit inside of a card case, what you need to do is to open up one side of the card case. Open it up very carefully. Be sure not to cut yourself. Put the cards inside, and now you know where to use the glue stick to apply some glue to refasten the card case back together so the cards will slide in and out with the extra thickness. The setup for the routine is to place the gimmick card on top of the rest of the pack and place them face up into the box. So when you bring the cards out of the box, they're in a facing the spectator's condition. The box has been stretched out, has been re-glued back together. To start the routine, you need to secure 4 half dollars or 4 quarters into a little finger palm using your little pinky. Bring the deck of cards out, show it front and back. Remove the cards, setting the case aside. Immediately go into a Hindu shuffle, a little bit of a Hindu shuffle. You can then use the back of your fingers here to sort of square the deck up a little bit. Turn the deck upright and do a thumb fan showing the deck. Close the pack back up. Go into an overhand shuffle. Now what you're doing is you're shuffling that last, or that top card, the 9 of clubs with the half dollars on it, to the very top. You're bringing that card all the way over to that position. It was underneath. You shuffle the cards and you bring it to the bottom position once the deck is turned over. You immediately tilt the cards downward as you cut the top half off and step them just like this. The reason for tilting the cards downward after the shuffle is because there is a large gap between the bottom card and the rest of the deck because of the half dollars or quarters which are taped to that card. So what you want to do is tilt your hand down and cut off about half of the pack immediately, up jogging it, which gives you much greater coverage. You then use your first finger to tip that top section upward. You grab the cards with your other hand and fan them. Now I'm going to lay these cards down because I need for you to see what's going to happen for the production and the dumping of the coins. Here is a plastic fan of cards so you can see through and watch the coins as they're being stolen. As I gesture towards the packet in my left hand, as I gesture once, I steal the card from underneath. It rides right out on my second finger underneath this fan of cards. I then deposit it on top of the cards in my left hand, and as I end up in this position, I now want to dump these coins on the table. It's very important to follow this directly as I teach it to you. My 2 thumbs come together. I was here. The coins have been produced. My 2 thumbs come together. My fingers open up underneath, and my left hand turns all the way over, places that half of the pack off to the side. I square these up, which would be these cards here, place them on top, giving me cover. The coins get picked up and displayed. At this point, all you need to do now is take out maybe 4 aces, whatever cards you're going to be performing maybe a matrix with. Place the rest of the cards in the box, and you're pretty much cleaned up. Whenever you want to remove the cards from the box once again, It's an easy matter to use your thumb to push that bottom card back in and remove just the normal pack of cards. Once again, here's the production from the front view, producing quarters this time. Here is another variation where you can start with both hands clean. A long time ago I used to play cards for money, but I no longer play for cash because, as you can see, I don't have much cash with me, just a few dollars. So now, instead of playing cards for money, what I do is I magically make my own. Watch, I'll show you what I mean. First, I give the cards a little bit of a shuffle, cut them only once, a little fan, and you could say this is a fancy way to make a little bit of money, just like magic. Now the 4 coins are used for a coin routine, perhaps a matrix routine. Now let's take a look at how to get into the routine with completely empty hands. I went to an office supply store and bought a jumbo size spring steel clip, and I cut it down so it could be used as a money clip. I then took $3 bills and folded them so I could grab them by the edges and open them up very easily, as you see here. And then the money clip that I made out of the spring clip goes on the dollars. The 4 half dollars go underneath the homemade fashion money clip. And this is your setup. Everything will then be placed into your pocket. The clip holds the half dollars very securely. When you bring the money clip out of your pocket, it's a very simple matter to position it so that when you remove the clip, the 4 half dollars are finger palmed. You then revolve the packet of money over, opening it up, showing the money, keeping the coins secretly finger palmed in your right hand. Another alternative way to get into the routine without using a money clip is to simply make a pocket out of a single dollar bill. You make a pocket that will hold 4 half dollars. You simply place your half dollars in the center of a folded dollar and glue everything around it so that you now have a pocket that easily holds 4 half dollars. This gimmicked dollar is inserted into the center of your other dollars, which you're going to be removing from your pocket, and it really is a simple matter to bring them out, lay them down. When you go to pick them up, you simply tilt the dollar over and use your thumb and first finger to lift up the dollar so that the coins don't slide down, the dollar slides up and away from the coins. Using the dollar pocket holdout is very similar to using the spring clip holdout. Let's take a look. Showing the cards front and back, fanning them if you wish, shuffling the cards, spreading them upon the table. At this point you simply pick up the folded money and talk a little bit about the fact that you like to make money by using magic instead of gambling. You then go into your routine where you cut the cards and magically produce your money. From time to time, people have asked me, they'll say, do you still play cards for money? I tell them, well, I used to gamble years ago, but when I took up magic and sleight of hand, I learned a whole new way how to make money. Yeah, I'd like to show you what I'm talking about. First, let me give the cards a little bit of a shuffle. I learned that by using sleight of hand and just a touch of magic, making money is a very easy thing to do. From a well-shuffled deck, all I have to do is show you. Watch. A wave of the hand, and the money appears just like magic. 4 quarters for your entertainment pleasure. The materials needed to make this up, very simple. A 1-inch hole punch from your hobby store, a deck of playing cards obviously, some double stick scotch tape or glue stick. Now with the hole punch, you punch out 4 holes onto a playing card. You do that with 4 other cards, so you have 5 cards with holes punched in them, so that all the holes line up as you see here. You then place the tape at the bottom and the top of each playing card, and a tiny piece in the middle, and stick them all together. This is what the block of cards will look like after you have them all together. That's 5 cards double stick together, plus 1 card on the back side. You place the tape there, top and bottom, in the middle, press it down. Now you have a solid block of cards of only 6 cards, which will house your 4 quarters right inside of the indentations cut out. And that is just how simple the gimmick is. It's very thin, and it will look like the 4 quarters are on top of the card because it's only shown just for an instant before you dump them onto the table. This is the handling setup. 4 quarters are within the card. The rest of the deck goes on top. That's just how easy. You bring it out, you can ribbon spread. Now when you ribbon spread, be sure to keep your finger upon the queen there at the bottom, press down on that block of cards. That'll keep the quarters hidden and so that they don't fall out. You can even thumb fan the cards as you see. You can shuffle the cards if you want. Shuffle off a block of 5 or 6 cards first before you shuffle the other cards on top and square them together. An overhand shuffle, simply pull from the center of the deck and shuffle off to the top. Now you can spread the cards and show that they really have been shuffled. Now watch. This is a longitudinal palm. The whole block of cards gets pushed off to the side like you see here into a longitudinal palm. Very easy to do because you have a block of card and it's not a single card. That block of cards gets deposited on top, the coins get dumped, and you turn the deck face up immediately so that they don't see the indentations within the pack. So there you have it, 4 different variations of producing 4 coins from out of nowhere, just like magic. Thanks for watching.